What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is Killer Drone, and welcome back to the Minecraft Farming Guide. In today's episode, we are over here in Bedrock Edition in order to show off a brand new fish farm design. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get right into it. So fish in Bedrock Edition are actually a lot more powerful than in Java Edition because they have the added drop of bones, which means you can actually set up a fish farm in order to get all of the bone meal that you need. Not only that, but bone meal is also more powerful in Bedrock Edition because not only is it used for all of your normal crops, but it can also be used to bone meal sugarcane, bone meal bamboo, as well as bone meal cocoa beans. So you can bone meal pretty much anything that is grown in the ground on Bedrock Edition. So as you can probably guess, that makes fish farms very, very powerful. Which is why we are focusing on them today for the Minecraft Farming Guide. Because as of Minecraft 1.16, the traditional way to make a fish farm was actually broken. Fish no longer spawn in flowing water or in bubble streams, which means we need to have a way for fish to spawn in and die without having the water move in any way. So like I always do these videos, if you guys want to skip all of the science behind why this farm works, then go ahead and skip to this timestamp that is on screen now. That will take you to me actually building the farm. But if you want to know the why of this thing working, then stick around through the entire video. So let's start with the science behind this farm. It's actually pretty easy. Because the fish no longer spawn in flowing water or inside of bubble columns, I needed to come up with a design in which we use none of that. So what I did was I started with the variables in which fish spawn. And the basic idea is they will spawn in one tall water with any type of solid block underneath that water that is obviously not producing a bubble column. So you can use stone, you can use cobblestone, whatever you want. You just have to have a block and then some type of water source above that block for them to spawn into. Other than that, that is pretty much the only spawning things that they need other than the biome that they are in. They need to be in an ocean or a river, something like that that actually spawns fish. So once I had that established, I started looking at how the fish actually pathfind. And this will likely be a good example because as you can tell, some of those fish just turned on a dime and immediately went toward our center here. What's happening is the fish are actually pathfinding to the deepest point in the entire pool of water. For whatever reason, the fish on Bedrock Edition, when they spawn in, they'll start doing a quick swim around, but while they're doing that, they are doing a check for what is the deepest point in this pool of water, and then they will swim toward it. So as you can see here, these guys over here immediately are going to start swimming over this way. Some of them, their pathfinding algorithm may get stuck before they start swimming, but for the most part, it's pretty quick, and each and every one of them will make it into this pool down here. Now, these 9 spots in the middle will obviously never spawn any fish in them at all because they are a bubble column. What's happening is the fish come to this center point, and then they get sucked down and die on the magma blocks. That is the basic science behind this farm. Just give them a place to spawn, and then make your center drop chute completely out of water and make sure that this is deeper than the platform that they spawned on. Very, very simple farm. Now let's build this thing. So first things first is to find yourself a bit of ocean in which you want to make your fish farm. Once you have that, go ahead all the way down to the bottom of the ocean and just build yourself up a pillar all the way to the surface so that you have something to build off of. Once you get to the surface, you're going to want to go 50 blocks into the air. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 50 blocks. So once you get up to 50 blocks, what I recommend is making a 3x3 platform here and then digging yourself down through the center block and placing you some hoppers on the underside of these blocks. So just go ahead, take yourself some hoppers, go like this all the way around, and then build yourself back up to this platform, dig out to where you can see your hoppers, and place one hopper facing into any of the other hoppers around. Doesn't particularly matter what hopper you place it into, just make sure it's into any of the hoppers that are around this area. So theoretically, you should have all of these hoppers pointing down with the middle hopper pointing into one of the other hoppers. So once you have your hoppers in place, go ahead and just make yourself a ring around those hoppers so that you have a bit of area to work with in order to get our collection system in. So now what you're going to want to do is get a powered rail and place it here with a regular rail on top of that hopper, a powered rail on top of that hopper, a regular rail going down the middle of your hoppers, then another regular rail to make the corner with a powered rail on this hopper with a regular rail, and then another powered rail at the end. So you should have something that looks a bit like this. Go ahead and get yourself some levers out and place them here to power that powered rail, and then place another lever over here to power that powered rail. Now for the two rails on the end, what you can do is just get yourself a stone block and then power that stone block with another lever. These stone blocks will also serve as a brake. If you want your minecart to stop running while you're leaving the farm, you can just flick one of these levers, and whenever the minecart comes back, it will park itself at that block. So now that we have our collection system in, it's time to start building the actual farm. And what you're going to do is you're going to place a magma block above each of the rails that have a hopper underneath them. So you should end up with a 3x3 just like this in the center of this platform. This is going to be the kill box for all of your fish. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take some stone and just get a wall going around the outside of your magma, just like this. Create an entire loop 2 blocks high, just like so, all the way around this area. So now we're going to do some counting on our diagonals. You see, the way that the fish spawning works is after it gets about 7 blocks out diagonally, the fish really have a hard time pathfinding to the center drop point. So that's as big as we want to make this farm, is 7 blocks out in this direction. Any more than that, and you're probably going to hurt your rates pretty significantly for the farm because they just can't pathfind easily to this drop chute. So let's count this corner here as 1 block, and we need to do a additional 6 blocks. So 7 blocks in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, from this block, what we're going to do is go out 8. And this is going to be where our wall goes around the entire outside of the build. Do this on each and every one of the corners. So once again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is 8, and this should be in line with that wall over there. Do this for all 4 corners and then just fill in the entire area in between these diagonals that you've made in order to get a perfect square. So just in case I wasn't clear, what you would have is something that looks a bit like this, and then on this 8th block, what you would do is just connect the walls up just like so all the way across, and you can even remove these blocks that are underneath if you want to, but that is what this entire thing will look like. Just connect up in between these diagonals, and then expand this wall all the way down just like this to connect up and get yourself a nice wall going around this entire area. So now you should be left with something that looks a bit like this. What you want to do now is just start filling in your water. Come down to your middle pit and fill in the bottom up for this farm. So start down here and just fill in this entire layer with water. Do the exact same thing over here. And now you have 2 full layers of water on top of your magma. And then for this top level, you can go on each diagonal and it'll fill in perfectly. Or you can go on the diagonal like this and fill in all the way across. And then you'll just have to add in a little bit of water coming on the diagonals this way to fill the rest of this in. It's probably easier, to be honest with you though, to just go one diagonal this way, one diagonal that way, and then you'll have this entire thing filled in. But just fill in this last layer of water. Make sure that you have absolutely no areas in which you have flowing water. And there you go. That's the entire fish farm done. Just wait for a few minutes. You'll start seeing some fish start spawning in here. You may need to unload and reload these chunks for it to start working, but it will indeed work. Last but not least, do make sure that you actually collect all of your items by placing down some chests on the underside of your hoppers down here. So just get yourself some chests on the underneath of these guys in a semicircle like this, just like so. And you don't have to put a chest in the center hopper because this center hopper is running into these hoppers over here. So you just need 4 chests going around like that. And there you go. You have yourself a completed farm. I'm actually going to unload this area and reload it, and it should start working. So I'm just going to go away just a bit, and then I'm going to fly back up to this area. You can do this with an elytra in survival. Just fly away and then fly back. And then whenever you come back here and you just AFK, you should start seeing some fish spawning in this area. Now, fish are relatively slow to spawn, so you're definitely going to want to AFK over here in order to get a fair amount of bones, but as you can see, that was a fair amount of cod that just spawned, and very slowly, as you can see, some of them are going to start stopping on a dime and heading directly toward that center point. Not bad at all. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I do hope that you guys enjoyed this video. It was kind of an interesting one to make because I actually needed to do this for my Truly Bedrock series. If you guys haven't checked out that series, I highly recommend it on my channel. I'm actually making an industrial district on that series where we're going to be making fish farms. We've already made a creeper farm, and I have a ton of additional farms planned for that series. So I highly recommend you checking it out. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I do hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like on the video, as well as if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. You guys have a great day. Fishy, 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 fishy. Oh man, if any of you guys understand that reference, I'll be very impressed. The original quote is, "Ducky, ducky, 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 here ducky, ducky, duck." If anybody can get that, I'll be very impressed. Put it in the comments down below.